Welcome to the Scoop with Dukes. I'm your host, Philip Dukes, aka Dukes D Scoop. Check me out on Twitter and Instagram at Dukes D Scoop. And please be sure to hit the like and subscribe button. If you have not become a member already, please go to the description, find the link, and become a member of the channel. We have varying levels of support, and we appreciate it. And when I say we, that's me, Cam, and the fam, because at the end of the day, this is how we pay the bills. All right, this is another AU Scoop. And this one is, I think it's real interesting about some of the stuff I heard today. Um, so a lot of Auburn fans, when it came to the hiring of John Summerall or the hiring of anybody in this carousel, I think one of their main issues was, why is Auburn still mandating who has to remain on staff? Give your guy full autonomy. All right. And when you think about it, you look at the Hugh Freeze staff. Hugh had autonomy, right? He brought a ton of his people in. Um, Brian Harsin, he brought a ton of his people in. And I think the original ask was DJ Durkin, Marcus Davis, and Vontrell King Williams, if I'm not mistaken. Right. That was the consensus that a lot of people thought. You basically were saying these guys were safe. And if but at least interview these other guys. Well, the word is right now that Alex Golesh has complete autonomy. Complete. Even regarding DJ Durkin. That's not saying Durkin won't stay, but right now, it's up to Alex Golesh. That's your guy. I will put the sources that I've talked to, it's going to be on Alex Golesh. Not only is this kind of being like a reset of the staff, this may be a reset of your roster. Of course, there are going to be a lot of guys that stay, but there are going to be a lot of guys that decide to go. Point in case, or case in point, you look at Steve Wiltfong's crystal balls for two wide receivers, and I brought this up today to a really good source, and he said, the source the source is like, yeah, that makes sense. Damn, dude, you right. Because think about this: if you were expecting to keep your whole wide receiver room and your wide receiver commitments, if you were expecting to keep all of this together, I don't know who's who, you wouldn't take two receivers. Wiltfong thinks two could be coming. So when you read the tea leaves, you got two receivers um, that could possibly become Auburn Tigers who aren't currently committed. One was on the OV yesterday. You got another one on the way. But it also tells you that there may be some change in the hierarchy of who's deciding who gets to come to Auburn. I know some guys on this South Florida staff. They are very aggressive and they believe in what they do, and they are really entrenched in the Southeast. So this could be a good thing. But right now, the word has gotten out that Cody Burns will be returning to Auburn. He's a wide receiver coach. Now, some people felt as if he could coach another position. I'm getting the vibes that he'll be the wide receiver coach. DeMarcus Van Dyke, according to Matt Zenas, will be returning. That means that you'll probably get another corners coach. Let's go. I'm going through my text right here. Yeah, Matt Zenitz also reports that offensive coordinator Joel Gordon will be on the staff, and offensive line coach Tyler Hudenick, if I'm pronouncing that correctly, and the strength and conditioning coach. Listen, this is shaping up to be a complete reset with full autonomy for Alex Golesh. Whether it's needed or not, it's happening. Does DJ Durkin stay? I don't know. At this point, it's impossible to know. I'm thinking this could be a clean sweep. I'm not saying it is. Before you guys go out and say, "Oh, Dukes, you said it's going to be a clean sweep," but I do want to prepare people for the possibility of it being a clean sweep. It really could be a clean sweep. Like I didn't. There is a really huge segment or sector of Auburn fans that say, you know what, blow it all up. They may be about to blow it all up. I know for a fact there are going to be, I don't know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 guys that I know on Auburn's roster that are gone. That play a lot. And it's going to at least 5 that I know 5 are gone. Barring, but just based on some of the personnel moves that I'm already hearing about, it's going to be 5 that'll be gone. And there are going to be some that stay. That's going to surprise some people. But I want Auburn fans to buckle up. You wanted change, or you're getting change. You can't ask for change and then say, "Oh, I just want to change a little bit." I just want to. No, you're asking for change. Whatever the reason was, the roster you had with the coaching you had didn't work. You're bringing in a new coach. It looks like you're going to be bringing in a lot of roster pieces. Now, with the transfer portal, you can bring some guys from South Florida. You can bring some guys from other schools because South Florida recruits in the Southeast very heavily. South Florida, some of the guys that I know from the South Florida staff, I know them because of, South Florida recruits Atlanta heavily. I know that. So I think knowing the lay of the land, like DeMarcus Van Dyke is one of them guys for sure. Like when I say one of those guys, he relates. He's relatable. People love him in the industry. Good guy. But it's not just the on-field staff. It's recruiting staff, and this whole football department could change. I mean, I know a guy like Kenyatta Watson. It's no guarantee he's going to be here. Matter of fact, he's gotten a lot of overtures. But I think he's one of the guys who may be on that list of, all right, if you keep anybody, keep a guy like that, right? Because it's almost like he doesn't contradict anything that you may want to do teaching wise. He just brings players in at a high level. But I wouldn't be surprised. I don't know. But I think you're going to see some major changes. And for those that want a reset, I think this will be the closest thing you'll get to a reset. Dirk could return. But I think it's 50-50 at best at this point. This is me from off of what I've heard. I think he could return. I really do think he could. But I think it's 50-50 at this point. I think Alex Golesh was given the go-ahead to make the changes that he saw fit. There are some people that are under the impression that Durkin thought that he was going to be the guy. There are some people that say that. There are some other people that say that Alex Golesh was told that he had to keep Durkin as DC. And he said, well, not if you want me to be the head coach. I'll give him an opportunity, but I've got a guy as well. And when you go look at Todd Orlando's resume, he does have a guy. He indeed has a guy. Now, you ask people at the University of Texas, they may or may not have the fondest memories of Todd Orlando, but he's called it at a major school. The way they feel they could recruit, I don't know. But at this point, I just want Auburn fans to be prepared for a 60 to 70% I don't want. Let me back that up. There's a possibility that it could be a more than starters, returning starters. You could lose up to 50% of your returning starters. You could lose over 50%. Well, really, shit, 70% of your on field staff, maybe even 80. Recruiting staff, you could lose a ton of those guys too. I mean, this could be a real rebuild. And when you think about it, sometimes it's necessary. I don't know if this is a time with based on the talent that's around, but how can you allow somebody? I mean, it's just like you guys work, you guys have jobs. When you bring somebody else in a leadership position, what do? 9 times out of 10, they bring the people they trust. And if they have to keep certain people, it's usually contentious until, you know, either the guy that was kept proves himself or the guy at the top says it's me or him. I don't think this is any different. But I do think John Cohen has told Alex Golesh, it's your show. Run it how you want. And that's where we are. So drop in the comments. Do you think complete autonomy is good? Or would you rather keep a lot of the pieces that you had for fear of the unknown, or not even fear of the unknown, just to have some familiarity because you know you have some talent there. There's a lot of talent on his roster. There's a lot of talent on the coaching staff in certain places. There's a lot of talent, and we know it's talent in the recruiting department. How do you feel about, I don't know, a more than majority reset? Let me know in the comments. All right, that's my time. I appreciate you guys.